Everyone, over here, we're back, and today we are sitting in on another Team Beachbody Zoom call. This one is, I believe it is four top coaches, and they each brought along with them a newer coach who has just recently, within the last few weeks, signed up with them. So they are introducing themselves to the Beachbody world and essentially explaining why they joined Beachbody to begin with. So where we are going to start this video is the one who is mainly hosting this call is about to introduce her coach who she brought on, so we are going to watch from that point and go from there. So let's get started.
Has been one of my challengers for a few years now, and she just jumped in at the beginning of May. And so she's going to kind of introduce herself, like, what do you do, where are you from, kiddos, and how did you get started with Beachbody?
The way that you worded that is a little odd. So basically, the girl who is about to speak she just signed on as a coach, but she has been a part of Beachbody for a while. She kind of worded that a little strangely, at least to me she did. So yeah, she has signed up as a coach under this girl.
So I live in I am a full-time lab supervisor for an aerospace company. So I'm super busy at work and not at work. I got started with Beachbody probably about 5 years ago now, through a totally different coach than, so sorry, not, but she sent me my first, I can't even remember what it was. It was the Jericho, anyways. It was a DVD, right? She got me started on that. She sent me my first months of shakes, and then I never heard from her again. And so I have been friends on Facebook for a while. We went to high school together, and I kept seeing her posting that she was doing Beachbody and she was drinking these shakes. And so I just reached out, said, hey, Jessica, I have a coach, but I want you as my coach, and let's do this. And so I don't think I've really quit working out since then. I think at one point in time I tried to start coaching back then, but then it was all about the money. I was living in Texas at the time, working a completely crap job, and wanted that extra income. For whatever reason, it didn't stick back then. But now it's kind of the same thing. I really do want that extra income. But I need something different. I need a whole community of people around me that I'm not finding at work. I'm surrounded by men all the time. So I need that whole community of you guys, backing me up, pushing me. So that's really what it's about for me right now, is connecting with people, helping them feel good, because I have never felt better. And I kind of fluctuate with it, but I've never felt better. So not really in depth, but that's my little story.
No, I'm so...
Okay, so her reasoning for wanting to join Beachbody in the beginning was she liked the product. She saw girls on Facebook who she went to high school with who were doing it, and she was interested in that. And the coaching opportunity, my guess was never fully something she wanted to do, or something she thought about, or something she even really knew about. But then again, if this girl is her coach, then maybe she wasn't as pushy back then as she is now. And also she said that the main reason why she joined is she wanted a community. She wanted like-minded people like her. And a lot of individuals who join MLMs are looking for that community. They're looking for friendship. They're looking for others like them, because they may be alone. They may just be a stay-at-home mom, or they may not have very many friends, and they're looking for that group of people, because when you see it all over social media, oh my God, look at that group of girls. I wish I had a group of girls like that. And these MLMs will promise that, our community is so wonderful. You will find people who are just like you, who just want to share the journey and share the experience and share the lifestyle. But what you see on social media is not always real. Actually, for the most part, a lot of it is fake, especially with these companies. They want you to put out as much as you can to make it look like you're living this great, fantastic life, when you probably aren't. So even though it looks like there's a great community of people coming together, and can you find friends through this? Of course you can. But the likelihood of you finding that, picture perfect friendship, unless you're at the top, is not really likely.
And we're going to stick with you since I've already got you pinned. You have come out of the gate. You've been a coach for 12 days, like an actual signed up coach for 12 days. How many people have you helped with some of our products in the last 12 days?
So I got my fiance started on shakes. And then 2 other people started on shakes, and I signed up my fiance as a discount coach. So I think that's a total of 3 now.
Yeah. Awesome. So you talked about
that would technically only count as 2, in my opinion. Signing up your fiance, she's already having to buy all the shakes and the workout programs, and then if you're also having your fiance buy it as well, it's kind of like you having, you now have more to purchase to keep up with the business than you did if it's just yourself doing it.
That second form of income. Have you seen what, like, the kind of money that you've seen already just from those first 3 people? Like, did that kind of be like, holy smokes? Like, what did you think when you first saw your first commission payout?
I don't know if I've actually seen a payout, but what got me was those stupid SC points. I was like, what? I got this many? Are you kidding me? I'm freaking excited.
You wanted the points on the board.
So she's like, were you excited that, like, you made money and, like, you were so surprised with how much money you made by signing people up? And she's like, no, I haven't even gotten paid yet. So she's been in the business for 2 weeks. She signed up her fiance, and she said 2 other people, but she didn't specify who they were. They could be family members, they could be friends, they could be random people that she just so happened to also get underneath her, which, hey, if she did that, good for her. And I mean that in the way of, like, that's what they're supposed to do, not what is probably best for the individual. And she's, like, super pumped about it, this top coach, and she's like, oh, were you? So it's like, kind of trying to lead her to be like, yeah, like, the money was so much more than I thought it was, and, like, it's so much better. It's this, like, happy, upbeat, like, everyone has to be like, haha, hee hee, like, it's kind of, it's very odd.
That's awesome. I love it. You sent me a message after you got your first commission payout, and we're just blown away because you really didn't start because you wanted to make an income, you wanted to make an impact. But what did you think when you first saw that?
Oh, there we go.
You're good. Go ahead.
So when I got my first check, just from commissions, I had signed up 3 people to just do Beachbody on demand. And they just wanted to do the 6 months. And it was my sister, my mother-in-law, and my mom. And so the commissions, it wasn't much, but it still felt really good. And I had the check on the counter, and I told my husband, I was like, look, I got paid just for helping 3 people. Like, I mean, what? And it's not, I mean, of course I get paid for my job, but this is a passion. And it was really cool.
That's so awesome.
So
how did you get those first few people? How did you start, like, posting? Because were you active on social media before? Did you post a lot before?
Did she just ask her how she found those first 3 people? She said that those first 3 people were her sister, her mom, and her mother-in-law. So, and then if she posts on social media to find them, my guess is she was probably able to just, like, walk outside her bedroom door and, like, call out to, I don't assume she lives at home, but it's, like, as easy as that. Or, like, calling them up on the phone because she's known them for so long. What do you mean? How did she find those first 3 people? Like, she's not listening to what she's saying, because this coach is the one who was just speaking is not under her. So either she really just is, like, waiting and asking and kind of like picking apart certain things and be like, how do I get this conversation to go a certain way? Like, how easy was it for you to find these first 3 people? And then the other girl, like, how much, weren't you so excited? And actually, yeah, going back, she said, like, you messaged in the group or something that you were so elated that you got your first paycheck. And she was, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that big. And she just like, she's wanting them to be so uppity and like, they're like, yeah, it was amazing. And like, oh my God, I can't even believe it. But they're being truthful because they haven't been in the company for that long. They haven't seen the numbers and the lifestyle and everything that the top girls are like gloating about all the time. And if you're telling me that in 2 weeks you can make this like elated a magical number, like because you invited 3 people who are your family members, like that's the easiest thing. That's always what they tell you is like when you join MLMs to reach out to your family first. Like if your family cares about you, then they will, want to be on this journey with you. And it's like, it's really hard to ask family members to spend $140, $160 on a workout program and some shakes. Like that's a really hard thing to ask a family member to do because that can be a lot of money for a family. That can be someone's budget for food for the entire month. And it's like to say that like if your family cares about you, then they will join, and if not, then they don't care about you. And so it's like these 2 individuals, the first girl and the second girl, both got members of their family to join. And it's like if you're starting a business venture, you usually, yeah, you can have like your family can back you with some money, but to like I don't know, to ask your family to do that and to join so that you can move up, it just seems weird. Like, it'd be like, in most businesses, they don't want you working with family members. They don't want that bias. They don't want that, they usually are not okay with that. And for you to sign up your family members and them to be like, yeah, look at you, you're moving so far up in the company, and they give you that, like, incentive and that boost because once you have, I think it's 2 people underneath you, you get a bonus. You start to earn commission. But if those people are just your family members, yeah, it's not really anything.
I didn't post that much before, pictures of my kids and my family, and it was my highlight reel. But I just decided that if I want to help people, I have to be vulnerable, because that's where you relate to people the most, and that's where you connect to people the most. So I just started talking about my problems. I mean, just kind of relating to people and reaching out. And I had messages coming in that were like, girl, me too. Like, and so you just connect and you talk, and then you ask people, how you can help them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like she's not listening. And also, like, at the end of that, when she said, like, you just have to be vulnerable and you have to, like, put yourself out there. And she seemed uncomfortable with that because it's very hard for people to be vulnerable. And this business pushes you to be vulnerable. And most businesses, whether you're working corporate, you're working retail as a part-timer, or you really are starting your own business, you don't have to be vulnerable to get sales. And their whole thing is like, you have to be vulnerable. It's like, why do I have to be vulnerable to sell a product? It's because you're trying to get people to join you on your business adventure. And it's always like, put yourself out there so that you attract others who are like you. It's not like, show how good this product is and it will eventually sell itself. No, the product does not sell it. I mean, it does sell itself. It sells itself through the distributors. Like, you're not just putting the product out there and people are like, oh, great, Shakeology, I think I'll purchase that. It's like, no, you're selling yourself. You're selling your problems to get people to join you so that I don't like it. I don't like that you have to sell yourself and share every deep, dark secret, because the darker you are and showing that you've overcome it because of Beachbody or because of whatever MLM. I don't like that. I don't like that you have to be either super vulnerable and fake at the same time if you really want to like tout that lifestyle, because like you have to put that you live this picture perfect life on Instagram so that people are like, I want to live that life too. No, always look at the big picture. Always look at the big picture. Like, are they honestly really that happy? Like, because most of the time when people join MLMs, they're looking for something. They're missing something in their life. Like, there's always something. Like, with the one girl, she's like, I want a community. So she's missing friendship. The other girl is saying, I want to help people. And maybe that is true. Maybe she truly does just want to help people. But she also seems sad a little bit, and like, I have to be vulnerable, and like maybe she just is learning to become more comfortable with herself. And that could be another thing, is like she may be trying to find her confidence within this company. Like, look at all those girls who are so confident. I want to be just like them. So everybody always seems to be searching for something.
Sharing that. So I know a lot of people struggle with the time aspect. Like, how could I add one more thing to my plate? Like, how much time would this take? Could I really like work this business when I've got kids and, we're going back to work and hopefully sports are starting again soon. God willing, can we get out of this house, right? So I think she works full time, right? She works, would you ladies kind of touch on the time aspect that you're spending on, like, whether that's from the training or connecting with people? Why don't you go first?
So I don't work, actually. So is my boyfriend. He is a natural gas pipeline.
So the next thing that is in this call is to be like, oh, how people always make I don't have enough time for this business. Like, I work full time or whatnot. Like, I can't ever put that much more time into it. And she talks to this girl, and this girl's like, I don't have a job. So she has all the time to be doing it. I'm going to skip ahead to the next girl, because I would show her, but the way that, she's sitting in her car, so her Wi-Fi, it's very choppy and kind of difficult to hear her. So we'll just move on to the next girl.
How about you?
So I was lucky, I guess I can say, that when I started with COVID going on, that work was not as busy for me as it normally is.
They must have just invited 4 of like the most recent coaches that they had who have people underneath them, and they're trying to reach out to that specific market to let everyone know that you can do this too. Oh, you're too busy? Well, what about, look at these women. These women aren't, they just started and they're so busy, but they fit Beachbody into their life. And the 2 girls that she asked, one goes, I don't work. And this one, she's like, oh, well, I mean, my work hasn't been that busy because of COVID. I've had plenty of time to do it. It's just to me, it's funny that they're trying to make a point, and the point is not coming across, I think, as well as they want. Like with the first 2 girls, it's like, were you so excited for the paycheck? And both of them are like, one's like, I haven't received mine. The other's like, meh. How do you work such a busy life and like you fit Beachbody into it? I don't work. I don't really work as much as I was, so it's easy. I just find that so funny. Wouldn't you kind of like figure out more about these women before just bringing them on? And honestly, I think in their initial like, hey, get to know me sections, a lot of them like spoke about, their life and how they are. And the host is not listening because this does not benefit her. I guess it does in the sense that like maybe more coaches will sign up underneath her in the future, or underneath, some of the girls that are under her. But this is just to be like, hey, sell yourself so that hopefully, Betty Ann will join because she feels connected to you. Something like that. I don't know. It just seems very, very odd that the host is not listening. It's like, take notes, learn who you all work under the same company. You're supposedly so excited for each other and you're all in the same community and you should care, right? But she's not listening.
So I was able to take, while I was at work, because I have my phone, I could do a lot of the reading and the training and that type of stuff. Now that everything is resuming back to normal, the office is getting crazy, but you learn to prioritize your time. You have your phone with you. Like, everyone has their phone there. So you can sit there and check a message, or you can sit there and have a conversation on your phone and still work. It's such a mobile business. You can, in the evenings, you know, I'll be sitting on the couch watching a show or eating dinner or whatever, and your phone's there. So I almost feel like I have to set limits on when not to look at my phone or when not to do something, and stop yourself, because it's not your normal work calls or clients calling to bitch about stuff. Like, it's people that are like, hey, I saw your story, or hey, awesome job, you know, and that's your conversation. So it's a different type of a work, you know.
So what I was saying in my last video is they have to be on their phone so often that if they're doing something so normal, like she said, like eating dinner or watching a movie, she feels guilty that she's not on her phone. She has to tell herself, like, you can't be on your phone all the time. And she's right. It's not a normal client call like it probably should be in a business. It's, oh, this girl liked my Instagram story. I have to talk to her. Like, I have to, like, create a connection with her. Versus somebody reaching out to you. It's like, hey, I see that you sell this product. Like, I'm interested in it. That is different than somebody saying that you like their story. But they view those things as the same thing. And they're not. They're not the same thing. That is, because somebody liked your Instagram story does not mean that they want to buy a product under you that is very pricey. I believe Beachbody spending $160 on workouts and shakes is pricey for so many people, especially during this time that we've had over the last 6 months. Like, money for so many people is so hard, and these MLMs have been leeching on, like, oh, this is a terrible time, isn't it? Like, wouldn't you like to have a business and do this? Yeah, everybody would, but to use it is just, it's gross. I don't like it. Using this time, I'm not saying this girl is doing it, but I've seen a lot of people posting in MLMs, or I've seen on the MLM Reddit of people being like, don't, like, oh, because of, you know, Beachbody or It Works or Monat, like, or Monat. I hate that one for so many reasons. Number one being its stupid name that nobody can pronounce. And they're just like, oh, I have my own business. Like, thank God for my own business during this time. I don't know what I would do without my business during this time. If you want to, you know, basically save your life, join under me. And it's so wrong.
Yeah, that was perfect. Like, you seriously touched on every part of the time that I would have ever spoke on. That was perfect. Awesome. So one thing that we get a lot, have you guys ever heard, like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme? I don't want to be a part of one of those companies. Raise your hand if you've kind of had a heebie-jeebie about one of those kind of companies-ish. Okay, so we're going to unleash.
Not just heebie-jeebies. I fully know that it's a pyramid scheme, and I would never ever join one. No, it is set up like a pyramid scheme. It also has to do with sales and contacting strangers, and that is just not me. I don't care if I'm fully in love with something. Like I love my Leafeon plushie, but I could not, for any reason, even if you also love Leafeon, would I be able to contact you and be like, hey, I love Leafeon, you love Leafeon, why don't you buy 1,600 Leafeons and, like, then also get more people to buy 1,600 Leafeons, and then we have so many Leafeons and everybody can enjoy Leafeon. Like, it sounds so stupid, but it's set up the exact same way. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to end it here. I know you may or may not want to know what they had to say next to it, and it doesn't matter. They talk about this girl and she's the one that has the really choppy video, and it's hard to understand, so I don't really want to, like, put that in there because I can barely hear her. I don't want you guys to have to barely be able to understand her with a lot of choppy bits. But she basically says that she was an extreme anti-MLMer and that Beachbody turned her around and Beachbody is just different. No. If you were 100% anti-MLM, you will not be caught up in one of these. If you truly believe that, you will believe that they are all the same. Just because LuLaRoe runs something different and you believe that to be an MLM and Beachbody runs things slightly differently, it doesn't make it not an MLM. Just because it's different products does not mean it's the same kind of thing. They are all grouped under the same umbrella and they all do the same thing. Recruitment, recruitment, recruitment. Alright guys, so that is where we're going to end this video. I know it was kind of all over the place a little bit, but this one just was interesting to me. The way that they were showing off new coaches, like a shiny new thing of like, look at how well they're doing. But it really didn't go, I think, as planned, but they'll still upload whatever. You know, maybe it'll catch someone's attention and someone will sign up underneath them and, you know, spend $160 and then somebody gets a 25% bonus plus 10% of that commission, because it's always about commission of how many people you have underneath you, not essentially how much people buy. And it looks like a certain shape, doesn't it? Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really, really liked it, please subscribe. Let's talk all things anti-MLM in the comments below. And until my next video, I will see you guys then.